A couple weeks ago, I did a video on the INTJs' clothing choices, which was based on an article I found online on thoughtcatalog.com. Now, what I did not include in that video was that particular article was part of a much larger article that was meant to help identify INTJs in public. Today, we are taking a look at another portion of that article, but I don't think it covers everything. And you'll see why as we look at the reason INTJs like the sound of silence. Let's dive in. First things first, the article starts off with saying INTJs are quiet and comfortable with saying nothing, where others would be compelled to disrupt the serenity with conversation. INTJs have no problem keeping to themselves even when sharing a small place with another person, such as on a plane or a bus. They are comfortable being alone and may not bother to hide themselves in their cell phones or pretend to be doing something. Okay, I agree so far, but I want to really examine these statements further. It is true, I am not compelled to speak unless it is to add something to an existing conversation. In fact, if I am not needed in the conversation, I'll just walk away. Perhaps that's a bit rude, but as the article goes, I am comfortable being alone with my own thoughts. To disrupt a quiet situation between me and someone else with conversation is also completely unnecessary for me. Give me a quiet, relaxed moment. I will take it gladly. Now, something I will do is dive onto my cell phone to look up articles and do research for business and my own personal interests. This still agrees with the article though, as I'm not just pretending to do something. And yes, someone can be sitting right next to me in public and I have zero problem with keeping to myself. I have in a few instances tried to initiate polite conversation or engaged in polite conversation, but it has always been short. And in the case of me initiating conversation, it is typically work-related or to try to force the growth of my own social skills. Going back to the article, it continues with the INTJ is probably that person sitting by themselves with a resting angry face. Don't worry, they are okay. Yes, I am okay. I just have a lot to think about. Out in public, they try to blend in and float under the radar. They actually like having friends who enjoy being the center of attention because the INTJ would rather observe and learn. The INTJ pairs well with ENFPs who can provide social lubricant that helps INTJs meet and get on with new people. Yet again, I agree with this article and the resting angry face, which is probably what people have been referring to when they tell me that I don't look approachable at times. I will say that I've tried to change that and drastically improve in different ways. I also do try to blend in public and float under that radar. The part about me liking to have friends that enjoy being the center of attention is also true. I would rather be part of a conversation where I can chime in comfortably than have to hold down the entire conversation by myself. The only exception to this would be if it is a subject that I really enjoy or is deep in theoretical logic. As for the part about INTJs pairing well with ENFPs, yes, that is a thing, but it is also another subject for another video. Now, I ran through the article fairly quickly for two different reasons. The first is that it is short. The second is that it misses what I think is a very major point. I like all sorts of different forms of silence. From being outside in nature, hearing the wind blowing and the birds singing, to being inside in the quiet of my own house with just the aquarium running. Loud noises such as loud music from car stereos drives me nuts. Bad pun aside, I actually am a bit more sensitive than others when it comes to sound, as I might be a HSP. For those of you who don't know what HSP stands for, it stands for highly sensitive person. It is thought that HSPs make up roughly about 20% of the total population of the world. Though there is more to being a HSP than I'm going to be covering in this video, there is one major thing I am going to cover, and that is loud sounds actually physically hurt me. Yes, the loud music at parties, the deep bass of the car stereo next to me, all these things physically hurt me. To give you an idea of what it is like for me, I want you to try to imagine the wavelengths you see when playing music in certain music players. Now imagine that you could touch and feel those pulses that you're seeing on the screen. If you've got that image in your mind, that is what it is like for me. I can literally feel the vibrations of music, and when they are loud enough, they start to physically hurt. For another example, say someone is speaking through a speaker system in a deep-toned voice. I can feel the vibrations of those deep tones through the floor, through my chair, and throughout my body. The reason I avoid loud places such as concerts is not because I wouldn't enjoy the performance. It's because I cannot control the volume myself in order to keep from being physically put off. Now I realize that I'm not everyone, and being more sensitive to this, I just do what all INTJs do. I try to blend in. Despite possibly being a HSP, I still like the sound of silence, as it lets my mind unwind and creates a relaxed, peaceful atmosphere. But that does it for today's video. Are you an INTJ that agrees with this article, including the resting angry face? Do you like the sound of silence? Better yet, do you think you might be a HSP? Let me know by dropping your comment in the comments section down below. If you like this video, why not consider sharing it with someone that you know? But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you're new here. As always, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!